Parents send their children to the sport. The most popular are martial arts. Therefore, I would like to introduce you Grandmaster YURII Kostrov, President of the World Organization of Universal Fist Fight Agni Kempo and his students Timur Andrianok and Yuri Kutrenko. First, I want to thank you for your visit to our studio. Tell us what we just saw. In this video you saw our performance in South Korea at the World Martial Arts Festival. What you saw is Agni Kempo, our Ukrainian martial art. I am a supporter of Slavic combat systems, but in general, all martial arts very harmoniously develop a personality. Of course, if the teaching is right. If we consider this from a physical point of view, then practically all muscle groups work and develop. In addition, if there is some kind of philosophy in martial art, then the personality develops spiritually. Therefore, it is very good that parents from an early age give their children to martial arts. Investing in your child and in children in general is the most important investment for any family. What will be invested in a child in childhood, such will be the result in the future. The main thing is that parents must understand and know exactly where and to whom they give their child. There are martial arts in which they take from 3 to 4 years. In our style, for example, we accept children from 5 years old. This is due to the teaching methodology. The main thing in the philosophy of our style is the training of a person to constantly improve himself. As a result, a person understands that to improve physically and spiritually, he will not be 5 to 7 years old, but his whole life. Now I want to turn to Mr. Andre and Mr. Yuri. What is Agni Kempo's martial art for you? What do you take from this for yourself? The answer is very simple, everything. I will clarify. In fact, for us, this is not a sports section. For us, this is the school. Agni Kempo not only develops us physically, but also gives us a moral and ethical foundation for life. That is, we are equating not just as athletes, but growing a fighter and warrior in ourselves. For this reason, Agni Kempo is more to us than ordinary sports. Here, we try to improve ourselves in everything. I want to supplement what YURII said. For us, Agni Kempo is not just a way of personal achievement, but a way of life. Tell us about your achievements. I will tell you not about competitions, but about life situations. In 2006, I had a major car accident. Just yesterday, I again went through all the medical examinations on this subject. Doctors were amazed at the results. I had injuries incompatible with life. However, they saw that I came to them on my own, on their feet, and all the medical indicators were like a completely healthy person. They said that this could not be. However, I stood in front of them. My return to full health and a full life took place thanks to the methods of Agni Kempo. Our master teaches us not only to endure pain and resist the hardships of life. He teaches us to quickly recover and live a full life. With his help, we develop intuition, intellect, spirituality, and other personal qualities in ourselves. I believe that this is my main achievement. We have a phone call. We are listening to you. Good evening. I have 2 sons. One is 7 years old and the second is 17. Tell me please, what health base do you need to have in order to come to you and train with you? And also, tell me, where is your training center located? Thanks for your questions. In order for us to train, the student must be practically healthy. If he has not big deviations in health, then we will fix it. If he has serious and chronic diseases, then in this case not you should contact us. Back to doctors. If by nature a person is simply physically weak, then we will perfectly restore such a person in a short time. In general, the results of your workouts are prominent every month. We do not have this so that after a month of regular training there are no positive results. However, our work, very often, is invisible. As a result, after a year, parents forget the state in which they gave their children to us and, as a rule, think that their children have always been so healthy and strong. For us, it is very positive that the person who came to us previously did not do anything. They are like clean canvas. We can initially, like artists, write on them many pictures with various colors. Where can we be found? This year, in Kiev, our 3 sport halls are opening. One of the halls will be in the center of Kiev. Therefore, to clarify the location, you need to call our organization by phone. I or the secretary, we will answer all your questions. The Grandmaster said earlier that you had a situation in your life from which Agni Kempo's training helped you get out. Tell about this, Mr. YURII. Yes, before starting Agni Kempo, I had big problems with the respiratory system and the circulatory system. That is, outwardly, I seem to be healthy, but if you look deeper, I had big problems that prevented me from physical exertion. When I came to the training center to Grandmaster Kostrov and talked about my problems, the Grandmaster immediately began with ideal with the prevention of my existing diseases. The prophylaxis that Grandmaster worked with me included special physical and breathing exercises, a system of meditation practice. All this gradually changed me from the inside, and after some time I acquired good physical and psychological conditions in order to begin normal training on a par with everyone. All my problems related to health problems gradually left me. Now let's watch another video. Is this some kind of championship? No, these are our performances in South Korea during our participation in the next World Martial Arts Festival. You saw a young man who demonstrated the technique of using a knife. This is my student Dennis Maybaroda, who in 2005 won the silver medal at the Kempo World Championship, which was held in Geneva, Switzerland. I want to focus our viewers on some aspects of our style. Perhaps, after watching these videos, some of the guys' mothers and grandmothers will be scared of punches and throws, as well as the weapons that they saw. They will think about the possible injuries of their children and grandchildren. I want to tell them that I myself, other instructors and trainers of our organization, clearly separate sport from physical education. We are mainly engaged in physical education. Martial arts are part of physical education. In this regard, in the system of our trainings, we pay the main attention to the development of health and increase in its number among our students. Agni Kempo is not a sport, but a real, full-fledged martial art. When boys and girls come to training with me, then I absolutely do not care whether they become world champions or not. This is their choice, which they can make later on their own. For me, the main thing is their health, the ability to survive in different situations, and before they can do what you saw in the video, some time must pass. For example, you saw how our students are able to fall correctly. To do this, they study special exercises on self-insurance for 2 to 3 years. By the way, the ability to properly group during an unexpected fall saved me a couple of times during my life. If a person knows how to fall correctly, this increases his chances of survival. Also, for example, the ability to group correctly, Andre's life during a car accident, which he already talked about, came to pass. However, if my student comes up to me and says that he wants and decided for himself to become a world champion, then only in this case I will begin to prepare him for this. It all depends on the desire of the student. No one ever pulls someone by the ears on the podium. I repeat, the main thing is my student's desire to become the best in the world. And for me, as a professional, to make European or world champion out of someone with his great desire, it's like baking pancakes or pies. But desire is primary. A lot depends on the parents. We have trained a lot of children, and I remember very few guys who with great desire came to training in the beginning. Especially the smallest. The child must first see and feel for himself what it is. See yourself in the same ranks with your peers. Only after that does he have intrinsic motivation to continue his studies. If motivation does not appear, then this is not his. Such leave. I myself advised some to do something else. I directly told my parents that it was a waste of time and their money. I advised them that chess or music, for example, would be better for their child. This happened to me very rarely, 4 or 5 times during my professional career, but it happens. After all, we are, by birth, warriors. I tell my students to imagine how many generations of their ancestors stand behind each of them. And if they were born, then their ancestors knew how to survive during the wars. Therefore, my main task is to help them reveal in themselves that deeply hidden warrior. Best of all, of course, to do this since adolescence. Did you have such things that people who had previously practiced some kind of martial arts came to train with you? Sure, of course, it's much harder to deal with such people, but with experience, it's possible. I've been in martial arts for 50 years and have seen a lot, and many. I can rebuild any professional on the Agni Kempo system. Let me give you an example. I had a student from Bulgaria, Velan Kadzolov. He was a good master and a skilled fighter, but in Bulgaria he was always second. Second place in Jiu-Jitsu, second place in kickboxing. second place in karate, etc. After 6 months of his training under my leadership, he became a multiple champion in Bulgaria. He became constantly the first. That is, from the point of view of my experience in martial arts, it's enough for me to see the actions of some master in order to understand what he lacks for success on his path. He may not know this, but from the outside I will definitely see this and give him something that he did not have. Of course, there are difficulties. The higher the master, the more he went through a large number of major competitions, the more difficult it is to eradicate his shortcomings and mistakes. But I have for this special methods, including hypnosis. Do you even have one? Of course. We create and apply modern technologies to keep up to date. I think that is why you are called a professional, intellectual and teacher. Maybe that's why you have a lot of kids training. I don't know. However, I think that children intuitively feel who to follow. They feel the leader if he is real and not self-declared. Children feel any falsehood and follow the one they believe in. Therefore, with children, you need to be especially sincere and truthful. If they feel that the coach goes to them simply as for the necessary work, and not for interesting mutual communication, then such a person will not be interested in them and they will leave. I really do not like the word work because it has something slavish. I like the word labor more. Now parents are very concerned that training halls are closing down. Children have nowhere to bring for sports. Trainers cannot rent training halls because of the huge rents. What is happening in our country with children's sports is a big disaster. The physical qualities of our youth have plummeted. Now for service in the army there is no one to take. This is a big problem. I remember myself in grade 4 of high school. If I now catch myself up on the crossbar 10 times, the whole school class would have laughed at me. Now, young guys who cannot palm push up once or push themselves off the floor 2 times have to spend 2 to 3 months to bring them into normal physical condition. After the destruction of the Soviet Union, we rejected everything that was in it. But we could take with you all the good. For example, children's sports schools. Classes for children were free. I now believe that for children under 12 years of age, sports should be free. However, the salaries of their trainers should be decent. Now such sports schools are extinct. They almost do not exist. Many parents want their children to play sports, but they cannot do this because of a lack of finance. If a guy is 16 years old, he can start working and pay for his training on his own. But I believe that this will all be reborn. The time will come. I see that women are not indifferent to Agni Kempo. This is Vera Morozova, my wife, the Grandmaster and co-founder Agni Kempo. You saw one of her performances in South Korea. Also, in this video, you saw our team's demonstration of elements of the survival system against the M16 rifle. Thus, you saw that in Agni Kempo there is not only sports for children and physical education of adults. but also a system of self-defense and survival, as well as methods for training special forces officers. By the way, I demonstrated these methods in South Korea when I conducted a training seminar and a masterclass to security service of the president. In addition, I taught Army Special Forces in Morocco and police officers in Bulgaria. Therefore, Agni Kempo is called the universal style of martial art, since it has absolutely everything that is necessary for the survival of any person or his activity in any power structure. After training with this, anyone can choose what is most suitable for him. Also, we have a special self-defense program for women. According to our methodology, regular attendance of classes is very important. Of course, if a student misses 1 or 2 classes within a month, it's not scary. We are all human and different things happen. But still, the one who trains regularly has the greatest results. After a year, a person becomes completely different in a positive sense. Our school teaches not only self-defense but also the rules of safe behavior in extreme situations. A person trained in our school should be able to calm the aggressor or the angry crowd. Well, if the situation shrinks so that you need to defend yourself, then our student can instantly stop the actions of any attacker. Yes, it is right. This is the first thing taught, for example, in the Israeli Special Forces. Fist is the last argument. We must be able to speak and negotiate. People have been given a language just for this. I teach my students not to create aggressive situations, but to be able to see and get around them. This is aerobatics. This is the highest martial art. For example, bodyguards are trained in this. For them, the main thing is not the effective protection of their client, but the avoidance of an attack on him. That is, constantly analyze all incoming information, draw up the correct and most secure routes, etc. I want to give advice to parents. Before they send their child to a martial arts club, you need to learn all about the trainer who will train their child. Now, unfortunately, in the world of martial arts there are many non-professional trainers and outright charlatans. If all the information confirms the qualification of the coach and his human qualities, then you can entrust the child to him. Watch the baby. With interest, he goes to training or not. But, do not rely on this only your own opinion. Let the child will within a training a month and then he will decide for himself whether to continue training or not. The decision should come from the child, not from the parents. Thus the child is brought up independence and responsibility for the decision. Unfortunately, our time is running out. But we have another not big video. see. On this positive note, I want to complete our program. What can you advise our viewers and parents? I advise you to involve children in physical education and sports as early as possible. The earlier the child began to study, the sooner some results will be obtained. Also, I advise you to give in such sports, where there is no excessive physical exertion. Do not give the child to such a coach for whom the education of champions is a fixed, painful, career idea. Give the child to such a trainer, for whom the main thing is to raise a good, harmonious and healthy person from a child. Let the parents look at the coaches relying on information, intuition and their life experience. Well, I thank you all for coming to our studio and telling a lot of interesting things. I want to wish you success in the development of your Agni Kempo school and more students in your halls. Thanks. And I want to wish all viewers to find time for sports, because this is not only beauty but also your health.